Hey, welcome everybody to Friday Live and Mail Call. Uh, and yes, you guessed it. Love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And of course, my co host is with us from the
Rocky Top, you know. Rocky Top is Rocky.
Hey,
Good
John.
morning, all. Hope you all are having a great day.
Yeah, it's always a great day here in Oklahoma.
Same
So,
in Tennessee.
and we have our very own Malcolm in the Middle joining us here today, Mr. Cotton Belt.
And I'm riding on the cotton belt railroad line in the pitch and roll and rhythm and noise.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, I'm not in the middle. Now I am.
Yes, you are. And for those that don't realize it,
He's old and
going
slow.
left. We're geographically correct, going left to right. I'm on the west side. Jason's in the middle in Arkansas, and then we got John over there in Tennessee. So we just need to put a big river there between Jason and John.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
How you guys doing today?
Good, and you?
doing real good. Beautiful,
Wonderful.
beautiful weather out there today, and got a little rain this morning.
We hit 80 this week here in Oklahoma City, and then I wake up this morning, it was 40 degrees out. I'm going, hell. Yesterday when I woke up, it was 52. So.
Well, we had it was like 40 overnight, but tomorrow night we have a chance of some snowflakes.
Oh, lucky you.
Oh,
Well, let's
yeah.
run down who else here today. Lynn McCurdy and the HDMMRC, gets the cookie. He was here first. And then Andy, Hot Dog Andy from across the pond. Ray Ron from down in San Antonio way. Let's see who else we got. Who else? I know we got more. Going down the list. We got Choberton Junction. Welcome. We got JD, Grandpa Rails from down.
Why do dogs get itchy skin? Why do dogs get?
What the hell's that?
I'm trying to get the chat up.
Whoa, quit.
I know. I quit.
We got JD from Dallas Fort Worth. All right. We got Dwight Curley from the great state of Illinois, the flatlands of the world. We got Hi from across the pond over in Holland or the Netherlands.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. And let's see. That's all I think that I've there's Lee, Anfield Road, layout and lock. That's all that's chimed in so far, I believe. Yep. Okay. So anyway, that's our roll call for this morning. And we got another great show. Of course, we're going to review all the items that Jason and John made me buy from last week's stream. But anyway,
And we're going to see what all we can get Steve to buy for next week's show.
This week, yeah, geez. As a matter of fact,
Between you, Jason, and Steve, you guys got me to go buy something this weekend. So
there's the first item. I had to get one of those nail polish racks. All right, for my paints. I'm probably going to get a second one and put all my airbrushing paints on it. So, but relatively cheap, well built. You got to put it together. And my big fat fingers have a hard time with those little screws in the troughs, because these are not just shelves that the paint sit in; they're actual troughs. So
Yes.
impressed. Then let's see, a couple other things I got. When Randall Ellison was in town, he made mention during the stream. He came in late to the stream, but he made mention he's headed back to Missouri from Amarillo. He's coming through Oklahoma City. And so we met up at Whistle Stop Hobbies, and that's what our cover picture was from. And he bought more than a few things. And I needed some track pins. So I picked up some track pins, and I picked up a 12.5 degree crossing that, now that I'm starting to lay track, isn't going to fit the way I wanted it to fit. So I probably don't need it. So what was the, let's see. You guys reminded me that I needed some cutoff wheels for my Dremel. So I got a pack of cutoff wheels. Now those are the easy lock ones, which are much better than the other ones. The other ones, I always had a problem with them loosening up on the or whatever the thing's called. So, so that I thought I had 3 things that you guys made me buy. I can't remember what the other one was. But
Well, that was 3 things.
I got more. Yeah, but you guys didn't make me. You guys didn't make me buy these, so I won't blame that on you. That was Randall. I actually have to go back over there. They've got some Atlas small track assortment. The only way you can get 2-inch pieces of track from Atlas is in their assortment pack. Now you can buy the 3-inch, you can buy 2.5 inch and 1 inch, but to get a 2-inch, you got to buy the track assortment. And I need 2-inch because when you do a crossover, to get a 2.5 inch separation on a number 6 switch, you need a 2-inch piece of track in between. Now I could cut them from Flex Track, all right, but I like the stability of the preformed track for that application. So, because by the time you loosen the ties to get the joiners on, you don't have any set separation until you.
You mean something like that?
Until you ballast it in. Yeah.
See, I cut those. I cut those 2 pieces.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that all
different.
Atlas?
So
that's all Atlas. Yeah.
So I did that before, and the only thing about it is the track spacing is 3 inches.
Yeah. Well, I have 3 inches on my track.
yeah, I need 2.5.
Well, it's when I was talking about the track spacing on what John did, it's from main line to main line, it's a 3-inch space.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you have, I'm gonna switch my camera over, see if I can zoom out. Yeah, let's go right here on the layout. So, let me turn my light on too.
That's 2.5 inch right there, isn't it?
Nope, 2-inch. And that's a Walters double crossover there, but it's 2 inches.
Oh, 2 inches? See, I want 2.5. That's just the standard I work under. Now, the exception to that would be inside a train terminal, but I want 2.5 because you get 83, 87-foot cars going around, even like a 22 to 28 inch curve. You could have some clicking, so to speak.
You could. So, John, is yours made out of number 6 turnouts?
No, that's actually number 4 turnouts,
Okay.
but it's going to be in my yard, so it's not going to see high speed or anything like that. So
Right.
if I was doing on my main line, it'd be done out of either number 6s or number 8s.
Yeah, number 8 would probably be preferred.
Yes. But I had never done anything like this before, so I wanted to see what I could do, and I got these number 4s for $2 a piece, and I got the crossover piece in the center in a box of track that I got from somebody. So all it cost me was the rail connectors and the little 2 short pieces of track plus $8 for the turnout. So
Yeah.
why not try?
Yeah.
Now, here's a fun fact for you. The Second Section podcast, what was it, Wednesday or Tuesday or whenever it was, Monday maybe, I don't know. They had Tom Klomoski on, and he was talking about turn radiuses and so forth. And then he talked about switches. And a number 4 switch, which everybody thinks is an 18-inch radius switch, it's actually, there's a point in there where it's a 15-inch switch. Okay. So that's why people have so many problems with number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Number 5s you can get away with,
Yeah.
but you're safe. 9 times out of 10, you're safe with number 6s.
Yeah. I use number 5s for like industrial spurs. My main lines is all 6s. And that's just because I don't have enough space for 8s. Otherwise, I'd be using 8s.
A few more people join us.
Yep.
We've had younger Steve 87th PSAP. We've had
Hi,
Randall
Steve.
Ellison join us.
Randall
Ellison has joined us. I think that's it. Yep. So go ahead. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh no, you're good. But that double crossover I got there, it's a Walters, and I don't really have any issues out of that one. The older one I did have issues out of, but this one I don't. But since I'm working on my NMRA, been trying to become a master model railroader, I am basically replacing all of my turnouts with hand built. You know, because I mean I have to build 3 different types to begin with, and whether it's a straight turnout, a curved turnout, or a Y, that's only one category. So,
Really?
yeah. Those.
So what are the, okay, so a slip is a different category.
Well, you can do single or double. Those are 2 different
Yeah,
categories.
but those are 2 different, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then a 3-way is another category.
A 3-way is another category. A single crossover is a category. A double crossover is a category. A crossing or a diamond is its own category. You cannot use a double crossover for the turnout and the crossing. It only counts as 1, even though you technically did more. What's called a double junction. That's where you have, a double main come in and 2 go that way and 2 go this way. And so theoretically, it's like 2 turnouts and a diamond. That's one category. Dual gauge is a category, whether it's like a dual gauge diamond, dual gauge turnout. Separation gauge is another one that counts. So that would be like a turnout, but you only have one of the gauges going off.
See, on my switching layout, I've got it's a 3-line main. It's a 3-track main line. Okay.
Yeah.
Which you don't find very often, but that's the racetrack in Chicago. And so I've got 2 sets of crossovers, but they're different. I use a double slip on the center track.
Yeah.
And then right hands. And then on the other side, there's, the other crossovers at left hand. So.
Yeah. And that's perfect for selective compression.
Yeah. That's the way the Burlington did it. I mean, this is
Did they?
prototypical. Just west of Fairview Avenue in Downers Grove, there is a crossover exactly like what I'm talking about. We're modeling it, as a matter of fact, because they would turn trains around at Fairview. They'd go westbound out of Chicago. After they dropped off, they would transfer from that westbound track through the Zephyr track to the eastbound track across exactly what I'm building.
Yeah.
So
I know, like, they're close to the terminal is typically where you see double slips. And they even have a section of track, it's called a double slip over. And that's where you would have like a double crossover, but instead of 4 turnouts,
hey, William,
it's 4 double slips with a diamond in the middle. What's going on, Bill?
So now I do have a couple more mail call items. Once I get the shelf layout up here up and running, when I was at Steve Davis's layout that we talked about here a couple weeks ago, he had a speed matching layout, which was nothing more than a circle of track, 22-inch, 22-inch radius circle with block detection for each of the Cato unit track sections. And he had it hooked up with a PR4, he had its own command station, he had it hooked up so he could use JMRI, and it would automatically speed match everything. You plug in, whether it's a diesel, or mainline diesel, switching diesel, locomotive, whatever you wanted that had different top end speeds.
Right.
And you plug that in, and then it on the 28 step, it would plug in, it would measure what it would do, and then drop them down and measure each one of those, so that once you have your first one done, everything thereafter would match to that.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. And it was slick. So I'm going to make one of those. And to do that, of course, I got the BDL 168 and the PR4 that we covered last week from Iron Planet Hobbies. Then I found this DCS 100G controller. I put a power connector, and I put some alligator clips on it for now, so I can use it to hook up to my bus lines to check my switches as I go.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this will be dedicated to that layout. So, and to go hand in hand with that, I got from Iron Planet Hobbies 4 of these Cato 21 and 5/8 inch Cato unit tracks. So 22 inch. I think they measure to the center line of it, which gives you a 22 inch radius.
So are you going to build it as like one solid piece, or like broken down into modules?
Two separate pieces with 1x3s or 1x4s coming up at the join with a piano hinge across it, so that it will fold up like that. Okay. And I got the PR4, I got BDL 168, I got the command station. All of that will be self-contained.
Nice.
You just plug the computer in, and it'll use a throttle off of JMRI. All right, to do all this. So,
Neat.
for anybody that's interested, you can look up on the internet. There's an article, the North Raleigh Model Railroad Club is the guys wrote an article about how they did it. All right. And that's where Steve Davis got it from. And so I looked up and got a copy of the article and read through it. I still have a couple of questions that I'm sure once I get it built and get into JMRI, I'll have to figure out. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to that.
So how many blocks is yours going to be? Like 3, 4?
16. Yeah, this is a 4-pack.
Right.
All right. I got 4 of these.
Okay, so did you get the isolated rail joiners so that way you can separate them into blocks?
No, I'll just cut them.
Oh, okay.
All right. But actually, they come off, I think.
Yeah, those will pop off because my son, his N-scale layout uses the exact same track. And so you can pop off the rail joiners and they make insulated ones that you can pop on.
Well, it's all going to be adhered down, so I'm not here nor there. We'll figure it out when I get to building it. And of course, one rail is common, okay, but I'll have 2 feeds, one for each half.
Yeah.
So anyway, looking forward.
Yeah, block detection is always.
I am. Let's see. What is this? Nope, that ain't the picture. Where's the right picture? There it is. That's my control board that I'm working on. And it's slid off to the side, so you're only seeing half of it. But that's the BDL 168. You got a PR4, you got the Wi-Fi module, and then on the other side that you can't see, you have the PM42 circuit breakers. You got the DCS 210, another power strip. And that whole thing's on a board, a shelf that slides in this area right in front of me. Or if we change to this view here, and slide this over and go up a little bit. This area right here is where that goes, and it connects to this toggle switch is a double pole, double throw center off. That will take a section of the track up here and change it from programming to DCC. And then this is the motorman, which will control the center of the 3-track main line. So when we're doing these live streams, I can have a commuter train go back and forth. And then, of course, my duplex connection for my Digitrax. So, and all of that, each one has a different plug that plugs into what's on the shelf. All right. And there's 16 different blocks to detect. It's a wiring nightmare. Okay. And I've started on it. Let's just say I've started on it and leave it at that.
Well, Steve, I got to say your trees in the background look pretty good. Your paint job there? Yeah, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually two different tones of green. You can't really tell it in that picture. But, I tried I used some stippling effect to give it the effect of, background shining through the trees a little bit. By the time you add flats and buildings and regular trees on it, it should look okay. I'm hoping.
Yeah. No, it looks good through the camera.
Steve's catching up in the comments.
Oh, younger Steve. Just for the record, All right. There's no bald spot. It's just the front. It's just the front.
And I'm definitely not bald any place. It's just
I'm going
white.
for a natural mohawk, you know.
And don't worry, Jason, you'll catch up to us.
What? Getting bald? I'm
No,
already
getting gray.
up to the grays. I don't know if y'all can see them very well.
Now I can't really see them on the
Scott.
camera.
Scott Rails has joined us. Welcome.
Yeah, Bill, I cut the beard up a little bit. I'm actually due for a shave again because this is all starting to grow back. I try to shave it like
Amanda
once a
loves
week.
your beers. Amanda loves your beers so much.
Oh, yeah, she loved to grab it. Now she ain't got nothing to grab on.
Well,
Especially if
you know,
I messed
we're not
up and I was supposed to do something around the house and I didn't do it. So instead of her coming and yelling at me, she'd just come grab my beard and then just start yanking me to the area, and I have no choice but to follow.
We're not necessarily a family show, but I can think of some comments. If she doesn't have that to grab onto, you know,
Yeah.
we'll just leave it. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, all right, guys. What do y'all have this week?
Well, mine's quick. So go ahead and share, John, because I need to clean it up real quick. So
Oh,
give me just
okay.
a minute.
Okay. So, of course, after Steve and Jason talked about the Sonic cleaner, I went to Harbor Freight and got me one. Except I paid a little bit less than Steve did.
He paid $15 less than I did.
Yes,
Hey,
because
Robert!
I'm a member of the Harbor Freight Club now, and that right there, that one there paid for 1/3 of my membership. Just getting that.
Oh, okay. So you got the discount for joining.
Well, I had joined a couple months ago. I got the discount because I'm a member of the club.
I'm a member of the club. I didn't get a discount for that. That wasn't one of the items.
It was a item that had the blue tag on it for membership when I bought it.
When you bought it.
So, yeah. And then I got some little alligator clip extensions. You know, that's another neat little thing from Harbor Freight. I can tell you can find a lot of neat little things at Harbor Freight for your model railroading. This, like, I needed another screwdriver, but this has some of the 1/8 tips in it. It's a ratcheting screwdriver. It also has a light on it, and it has storage for all your different pieces here. So
now is that powered or just ratcheted? It's
ratcheted.
Okay.
I'd already got the powered one, and then I got the hex adapter for it also. So I already had that online. So then after I went to Harbor Freight, I went to one of my 2 local hobby shops. And I got some 2-prong connectors. And I actually bought 2 turnouts, 2 Pico turnouts, which, as you see, they're already out of the package. Excuse me?
I thought you were doing code 100.
No, I do code 83. That's why it's hard for me to find stuff around here. They don't do a lot of code 83. No, all my stuff's code 83. And while I was there, every once in a while, he has some gondolas that I'll buy. This was one of his cheaper ones. This was $17.98. Of course, it's a kit. I got to put it all together, but that's okay. I don't mind it. Comes with metal road wheels and halfway decent couplers. I'll change them over to KD couplers, though, because that's all I use. I think that was it for purchasing, other than I did get my mini prints box this week. And since Steve has delayed his membership while he's still rebuilding, guess I'll show mine. Here's some aluminum beer kegs. Come in it.
A must have. Must have if you got.
Yeah, it's got to have beer kegs. Yes, I do too. And then some wooden barrels, 6 of them.
Okay. Derek Alexander has joined us. Hey, Derek.
Hey, Derek. And this is a little bit modern for me, but this is a scissor lift with some nice, delicate handrails along the top there. That'll be fun to paint.
Did they have those back in our era?
No, they didn't. So, this is going to be one of those things that I'm just going to paint up and it'll be in a drawer. But I'm not sure. I think it was mid 60s when they started with the scissor lifts. So
I think it was 70s, but okay.
It could be, it could be 70s too. So, and then, let's see, let me try to, got 3 wagon wheels. This is going to be hard to show. 3 wagon wheels.
Okay.
And then there's 3 wooden Coke boxes with 3 sets of, or actually 4 sets of clear Coke bottles to go in it. So, you paint the lower to be filled with paint, leave the top clear, and you're set there. There's also a 20-yard dumpster, which is not in my era either, but oh well. 20-yard, it comes with the 2 doors, so you can either model it with them open or closed. There's one of the doors. Nice detail on them. Yeah, it's a double door. And then finally, if you got last month's mini prints, he had a ice machine in there. This month, he sent the decals for it. So,
Okay.
So there's the ice. And Steve, you want me to scan that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll scan it. Or I put them on.
Anytime you get decals, scan them.
Yep, I will do so. So that's this month's mini prints, prints of the month.
Now, if you scan them and you're going to use them yourself, John, blow them up in a editing software and change the backgrounds to white. Otherwise, when you print them out, they're going to have blue. And do the insides of the lettering too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure my cheap program that came with the computer will do that, but
yeah, well, Paint will do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I should have Paint in there. So yeah, that's the mini prints of the month. And that's all I got this month. I did, however, work on a crossover, double crossover. This is using some of my $2 Atlas Code 83 turnouts. And so I put it all together. This is going to be in my yard, so it won't be high speed.
What are you going to use for turnout motors?
On this layout, Steve, I'm probably not going to install any motors on any of these. I will wait until I'll do hand throw. And that, of course, will save them. And
word of wisdom, word of wisdom here.
Yeah.
Do not use a stall motor type of switch machine, such as a tortoise, as an example.
Right. Yeah.
Because you have to use a solenoid, type on those Atlas switches. Otherwise, you're just going to tear them up, and then
Yeah.
you're going to be pulling them out.
Everything, all my turnouts are going to be within arm reach because the deepest one will only be about 2.5 feet in from any edge. So I'm not going to worry about putting my motors in it. Now, if and when I get my large 14 by 40 shed, that's when I'll change all my turnouts and go to probably Pico. But boy, at my hobby shop that I went to, my Pico turnouts were $36.99.
Yep.
And
If you got them from Iron Planet Hobbies and use Heath's discount, they would be substantially less. By the way, Jason, I can't tell if you're there or not. I'm going to switch us back to that. Jason was saying he had to pay for shipping using Heath's code. And I checked again. That order for the track pieces was $50 and some change, and no shipping was free. Using Heath's code.
I thought
so. What I'm thinking, Jason, is there's two different things. There's a promotional code and a discount code or something like that on Iron Planet Hobbies, and if you enter it, Heath's code in the wrong spot, you don't get the discount. All right. If you don't get the discount, you don't get the free shipping. So anyway, or it was like at the end of a term, maybe a year or whatever, and it didn't work anymore for a short period of time. I don't know, but I order repetitively from there, over $100, under $100. I never pay shipping. So anyway, that's here or there.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody had asked after the track painting tip of the day, don't I have to go back and clean it off where I'm putting the rail joiners and stuff? And absolutely. All right. And the way I do that is my Dremel I put a brush attachment on it. Zip, and it's clean. So another quick tip of the day.
Now, after you do that, Steve, are you going to go back and paint those rail jointers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't take, zip, a paint pen. But I don't have to go down the whole rail and so forth. But,
yeah.
And it's not that much anyway.
And we did decide that chapstick was the optimal thing.
Chapstick's the way to go.
Okay.
Well, it's optimal for me.
Mm.
Right. So that's what worked best for me. Thank you, Robert, for that tip. So
yeah, I just use wood on top of the rail.
Yeah, that's what JD uses. Well, I still, even with the chapstick, I still come back with my putty knife and then my MDF.
Yeah.
So
I don't even use MDF. I just use a scrap piece of 1x4.
Well, this is. I mean, I got tons of these scraps laying around. So every time I cut out for like the Motorman or the Digitrax, I just got tons of it. So anyway, no big deal.
So I think we're up to Jason.
Or this is Lynn. This is generic. This is Walmart lip balm. I think it's Walmart's. But yeah, chapstick. Same. It's all the same. It goes on easy, quickly, uniformly. So.
Wow, JD's got 46 turnouts. He's trying to compete with me.
Well, right. I've got,
I had 70 on the old 1.0.
yeah, I think I'm in the 20s now, even on my little layout. I've got to add more on the other side.
This will have 16 turnout motors. The double slips take 2. The triple, the three-way takes 2.
Three-ways. So that's a question. That's a good question. Do y'all consider three-ways, single slips, and double slips as one turnout or two?
It takes 2 turnout motors.
Yeah.
And there's 2 sets of points.
Yeah.
So
Robert stopped counting how many he has.
I mean, a double crossover is four turnouts. Single crossover, 2 turnouts.
Right.
And
right.
if you really want to get technical, wouldn't a double slip, even though it only takes 2 motors, there's 4 sets of points? It's just 2 sets are on the same throw bar on each side.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Robert said he stopped counting.
But yeah, it all depends on how you define it, I guess.
I know by the time I get the top finished and I start doing all the track work on the bottom, I have between 75 and 100 turnouts total. And that's me counting the slips, and I think I might only be using 1 three-way in the plan as 1 turnout apiece. So by the time you factor the slips, it's probably going to be closer to 100, maybe just a tad bit more. Because the bottom level is going to have 2 yards.
Yeah, you're going to eat up a lot in that.
Yeah.
Now, even in is that going to be your staging yard, not scenic? No, it's going to be scenic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The cotton belt will have a yard. So my layout will have 3 yards total, not including staging.
Okay.
If we include staging yards, then bump it up to 5 or 6, because Hickory Ridge, where the industrial area is, that has a 2-track marshalling yard. So the local will drop off cars there, and the industrial switcher will actually switch out all the plants. So that's a yard, the interchange yard between the Cotton Belt and the Rock Island. And then on the bottom level, the Cotton Belt's going to have a hump yard, and the Mopac will have a small yard as well. And then, of course, the upper staging, lower staging yards. So that would be 6 yards.
Now, are you going to make your hump yard work?
I'm going to try.
The one thing I was thinking about is at the top of a hump yard, you could have a magnet that would, going slow would decouple that last car.
So I've got it right here. So Thomas Gazier, most of y'all know him as Split Rock.
Yep.
Built this for me years ago, and I have not taken it off the piece of NDF that he shipped it on, but I had to provide him the kit, and he went ahead and painted the base plate of the kit. All right. So the kit, it's the scale house. The scale's between my fingers. That's the house there. But he made that for me. So I'm going to try to find a way to have this at a slight angle. So it's a scale track. So your locomotive would stay on the bottom 2 rails. And then as it's pushing cars down, it should be weighing the cars. And so those are going to be the 2 rails that are closest to the scale building.
Scale, okay.
Yeah. So it actually...
I think a hump yard would be so cool on a layout. But here's the deal. How do a real hump yard has retarders
Yeah.
to slow cars down. How do you do that on a mile railroad? Hey, Bernard.
So here's my theory, and I've looked at a lot of people that have hump yards and stuff. Their hump is too steep. The grade is too steep.
Yeah.
And because of that, it picks up too much steam.
Yeah.
You only need just a very, very slight grade and some good wheel sets for those cars to move. Because let me tell you, like with Brinkley, where my interchange yard was, my bench work sagged a little in the back corner. And I had to go back and adjust it because all of my Intermountain cars would keep trying to run down to the wall. So just a slight, and I put my digital level on there, and it was 0.01 of a degree. And those cars were rolling.
Yeah, if you have good rolling stock, yep.
Yeah, and especially if it's weighted, that's just going to make it even go faster. So really, you only need.
You'd want cars to be able to roll to the end of that track. Okay, but as that track fills up, they're going to start slamming.
And that's the thing. So that section of track is actually going to curve around the next wall. So those yard tracks are going to be about 15 to 20 feet in length.
So you'll never fill them up.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you could. You had enough cars.
Well, if you do, you're going to start slamming cars.
Yeah.
So, Lynn, when it comes to grade, it measures in both percentage and degree. Just use a grade elevation calculator, and it will actually tell you both. But the easiest way to explain it is when you think of a 1% grade, that is 1 inch to every 100 inches. It's 1%.
Right.
So you really only need maybe 0.5% of a grade. So that would be a rise of 1 inch to every 50 inches.
So Steve brings up a point. You could use brushes.
Yeah.
It'd have to be really, really, really soft. I would probably use makeup brush because they're much softer.
It would look at a place though. Let's see. Josh, NS Modeler 24 did this, and he used a nylon brush so it kind of didn't stick out like a sore thumb.
Right.
And it worked because his rotary coal dumper is on an incline.
Right.
So,
but I'm still at the fact if you're going to slow them down, then they're not going to go all the way to the end.
which you don't need them to. You only need them to go so far.
Yeah, but okay, let's say you just want to go halfway.
Yeah.
It takes a different amount of speed. The only thing I can think of is you'd have to have some kind of control that make that brush maybe pop up when the cars hit a certain point. Use a train spotter detector from Iowa Scale Engineering, and when that fills up to that level, maybe then the brush comes up to slow it down for the next set.
Yeah.
For the next length of cars. That would be the only way I would know how to do it. And then you'd have to have some kind of actuator. I'm sure the 4-letter Arduino word comes to mind.
Or, possibly some magnets underneath too, because what a lot of people don't realize is the axles on your wheel sets, if you have metal wheels with metal axles, those are, they're magnetized too. And so magnets could slow them down as well. It's going to take quite a bit of testing on this. And I know as they go through the turnouts, that will help slow them down a little bit as well. So,
but you'd still have to have some kind. It's the variable, all right, in length that throws it off.
Right.
You have to have something that will control the, either a one step or even two, depending on how big it is and how far you want to roll, et cetera, et cetera. A 1 or 2 step thing, electromagnet, where it activates once that train spotter is full down there. All right, then that electromagnet kicks on so that the next sets of cars don't go as far.
right.
Right. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do plan on putting an electromag. I have one, a Katie electromagnet that I do plan on putting in it. It seems like everybody who has attempted the hump yard, mine's going to be a little different. It's not going to hump up and then down. I'm actually going to build the yard lead up a little higher than the main line, and my yard lead follows the main line and goes into staging. So it's going to be a flat track, coming up, and then it's going to slowly back them in, and then you have a slight little dip, and then it flattens back out. So
Okay.
it doesn't necessarily need to go all the way to the other end. It doesn't need to go 20 feet. It just needs to go long enough to where it's, maybe 5 or 6 feet. Because, that's probably going to be the length of my trains anyways.
The retarding system would have to be for every track too.
Yeah.
To make it work right. So.
Yeah.
Robert's got the answer.
Thing for sure. I'm only looking at the main line, and then there's 7 yard tracks, but the 7th track is actually a passing by track to allow the switcher to send cars down to the car shops, which is beyond the yard. It was really the only place I could put them. So I've got engine facilities on one side, car maintenance and stuff on the other end of the yard. So, and both of the 2 walls, you're talking 20 foot walls. Both of those is what's servicing from engine facilities to the car shop. So you're talking 40 feet, 35 to 40 feet total. And about 20 of it, maybe 25 feet of it's going to be yard.
Robert's got the answer.
Yeah. Use your hand.
Hand of God.
Yeah.
Derek.
Using the 050.
Yeah. I call it the hog. The hog method.
Yeah. And I do weigh my cars, guys. So I will tell you this, when it comes to NMRA standards, a lot of the manufacturers today will actually have the cars weighted properly. It's the older cars like the blue boxes, the Tycos, AHM, all of the other older manufacturers. Right. They're just not weighted correctly. And so you have to go and add weights. And I will tell you the easiest way of doing that is I don't have any on hand at the moment, but is using the tire weights.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easiest way of doing it. And as long as you're within that 10% threshold, you're good. So
Harbor Freight has wheel weights that have the double-sided tape on them.
Yes.
And I got my little food scale.
I will tell you, John, I get them cheaper off of Amazon.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
I'll have to look for them.
Yes, much cheaper off of Amazon.
I know what it was, you guys, that you made me buy some more of. I got to find them, though.
Leave it to me to remind Steve, right?
So I've got my inches on the green tape, and I put the ounces. Probably can't see it in red at what distance, what ounce it should weigh.
There you go.
So it's easy to figure out doing it that way.
I'm gonna see if I got a car here I can break open real quick.
Well, where did
I
it
think
go?
this is one I did. Nope, this is
course-
one I did.
No,
not.
there's one more thing you guys made me buy. Now I can't find it.
I know, leave it to us, Steve.
Yeah. There they are. We got into the discussion about neodymium magnets for uncoupling, so I
Yep.
bought another pack. And then right after I bought these, I unpacked a tote and found what I had left over. But
All right,
there weren't
so-
enough in there, so I still would have had to buy them.
So Steve is going to be proud of me because I picked this car.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
everybody needs
if
one
I'm
of
in
those.
the instance to where I only need one weight, I put it in the center. If I need an even number of weights, then I actually put them over the axles.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I do.
So I don't, but this is
Absolutely.
a 1/4 ounce. So this car was only needing a 1/4 of an ounce. So yeah. So I put it in there, but I don't ever run my cars with the doors open. And if I do, I try to paint the inside of the where the magnet is, or like, I'll have like maybe one door open so that way you can't really see it,
Right.
Yeah.
and not having both slidden all the way open. But this one would have been used for what? Automobiles?
Automobiles
parts.
and parts.
Auto parts.
So
The big 80-some foot ones had actual cars in them.
well,
And then you had
originally
the
before they
the
came out,
Vertipacks for Vegas.
before they came out with auto racks, they used 60-footers where the double doors were offset, and they could get 3 cars in each box car. That was before they built auto racks, and that's my time period.
Mine too, but there's the CNEI double door 50-footer.
Yeah, because I have some up here. I can't easily see them because they're up in staging. Yeah, right here's one. So this is a Southern Pacific, but it says automobile on it. But it's just a standard 60-foot box car.
Yeah, you need to have a door open, have a hobo sitting in the door or standing.
Yeah, I need to do that with some of them. Well, I've got this one here. This one's actually glued with the door cracked open. This one here, this is an AccuRail, so the doors don't slide. So yeah, I need to get a little hobo sitting on there.
Hey, Kyle.
So
All right. Well, for those that are interested, and you may or may not be, who knows?
well, I was wanting to show. I know we're almost about out of time, Steve.
No, we can go. We can keep going.
I was going to show that I've got all of the track finished on the switching layout.
Cool.
No, good.
And it's all wired up, so you can actually see right beside the throttle that it's actually powered on.
All right.
And those that weren't here last week, why are you doing this switching layout?
So I am a merit badge counselor for the railroading merit badge for my council, and I have been asked to teach the railroading merit badge at our merit badge university. And one of their optional requirements is to time themselves in a switching contest. So I'm gonna see if Steve can make me big real quick while he's standing up
can,
and
but
moving around in his
hang on.
cardigan.
Yeah, I was screwing around with something here.
But I'm also
I'll make sure.
So one of the other things that I'm going to be doing with this layout as well is taking it to the Central Arkansas Train Show. So for those who are going to be in the area, I will be hosting a contest. I checked with all of the Arkansas state laws, and I can charge an entry fee on it. And as long as it's based on skill, it is completely legal, and I can do prizes, to help cover the cost on those prizes. So next step on this layout is going to be getting all the plywood painted and just kind of make it look a little nicer. I put the ice dock on there temporarily. That's the one that my friend John made me for my birthday a couple years ago, and it's just sitting on there right now. But I'm thinking about maybe putting just a very small amount of scenery on there, because just to kind of give it a little bit more depth. But you can see where there's two reefer cars sitting by themselves, so the operator would have to move those two reefers over to the ice dock. There's two more reefers in his train, and he would have to move those to replace those two reefers that are out on the track. And then he's got two more cars that he has to spot in a specific area. So, and the neat thing about this, I can even add on either end if I wanted to create more modules. So the modules are like 31 inches long and 9 inches wide. So, I can always add on to this if needed. And make the switching contest a little more, difficult. But the only thing that's hooked up as far as electronics go, Robert, I do plan on restricting the engine speed as well. But the only electronics I have is I've got the NCE power cab hooked up, so you can see the main NCE throttle on one side, or I call that the back side. So that's for me. But if you look on the other side, you can see a Cabo 6 wired up on it. And so that will be the throttle that they'll be able to use. And of course, it's only big enough for, one switcher, so they can't use a bigger locomotive. So just, pretty cool little switching puzzle for them to use. My scouts will get to be the first ones to use it, and then the train show in August. So just FYI, if you're in the area in Arkansas, the last weekend of August, Conway, Arkansas is going to be having the train show, and I will be there. And so if you want to take a stab at it, maybe win a prize, come on down. Have fun.
Very good.
So that's all I got.
I might have to do that. But along those same lines, and it's actually a pretty good segue. As soon as I remove the extra solo, and now I'll take and make me a solo, and just to show people progress I am making. The cork is down, and I'm starting to fit the track.
Oh, there you go.
And I painted the backdrops. Robert and I had a discussion about the backdrops and taping and floating joints. And I figured out why you tape and float joints. Because if you don't, the spackle will crack. You can't see it. You can't see it on these pictures, but there's a slight hairline crack right here.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now that you pointed it out.
Yeah, most people will never see it, and it's not that big a deal. I'll probably put a smokestack there, and have some smoke coming out of the smokestack to help cover it up. So anyway,
Randall, if
You're
you
right there.
drove a train 70 miles per hour on that little bitty layout, you would be off the other end of the layout in like half a second.
Yeah.
And let's go back there. Okay. And Robert, you missed it earlier before you came on, but I've got all the pieces now necessary to build that speed matching layout circle, just like Steve Davis had when we were there. So, anyway.
I had one other thing from Harbor Freight that I forgot to mention. Those of you that are Harbor Freight Club members, they are having a parking lot sale starting for club members on the 4th of March through the 7th of March, and then everyone else the 8th through the 10th. And I know I've shown my bright shop lights up here. They will be on sale for $16.99 each. Can't see it. During that time period.
Oh, cool.
And you can plug 8 of those together at one time
And daisy chain them.
and daisy chain them. And mine, I've got 4 to each, but they go into a light bulb socket in the ceiling. So I turn them on and off with my regular light switch. But I need 4 more for my shed that doesn't have any lights in it. So I'm going to get 4 more of them for that. But so for club members, that's March 3rd through the 7th, and for everyone else, 8th through the 10th. Harbor Freight, huge parking lot sale. Now that's in Tennessee, but they're probably going to do it at all the Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
I will say that we will not have a live stream on the 9th of March. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, I think it's the 9th of March. 8th of March. Because I will be in Orlando, Florida that extended weekend.
Let me guess, Coy.
Yep.
So that means that guy's going to go live.
No.
He doesn't know how.
I'm still working off my cell phone because I haven't got my computer fixed yet.
Well, if I'm not down in Hot Springs working on my customer's layout that weekend, I can go live and carry the show.
We'll still do it next week. We'll still be here next week. It's the week after.
But Derek had a question, and he wanted to see if that middle track where the ice dock was, would be able to hold a switcher and a cart. And so the answer to that is yes, it will. And the track on the other end as well, same thing. So I made sure that every stub in track could hold a locomotive and one car. So that is the answer to your question. And then Randall, you're right. I would get a ton of views. So let's do it with one of your locomotives. And so that and
one of his scale trains museum.
Yeah, we'll get one of your scale. No. He's got one of those Aurora scale miniatures that's got the rotating fans. So we'll use that locomotive. Yeah. I'll let you run at 70 miles per hour on this layout, and we'll see about getting some views for the both of us. All right. Randall's probably having a heart attack right now.
Yeah, I hate when I just mess up a handrail a little bit.
Well, let me tell you, that locomotive on there, it found its way to the floor.
Already?
Already. And it's got on it right now is a small little scuff, but it came completely apart. I had to desolder part of it, put it back together, and it still runs smooth, believe it or not. So, but yeah, it's got one.
Oh, race fan.
So, and I can fix it up with some touch-up paint, but there's the I don't know how well you can see it. Right there on the top corner. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. But it's right there on that corner.
It hit a tree branch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So just some black touch-up paint, it'll fix it. But this is a Stewart Hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
These things are tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that? A VO 660 or a VO 1000?
You got it right the second time.
Second time. Yeah, I've got
I just haven't put the detailed pieces on it yet.
There's the 660.
Okay. I think it's a little shorter, is it not?
It's a little shorter, yeah.
Bernard wants you to put a decoder in an Atlas or Tyco for the learning class.
Okay, well, y'all have all seen this one. Ugh. This is one of Steve's other railroads.
The Rock?
Yep, the Rock. This is an Atlas. This is the one where I did the best job of burning up a decoder. And that was said by George Bogatuk from Soundtracks.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
So,
but he replaced it for you free, didn't he? Replace it?
Well, because I'm a distributor, so
right.
Yeah, that's the only way they did it, because I'm a distributor / installer, whatever you want to call it.
Well, so far I have only burned up one.
I'd recommend foam rubber on each end.
Actually, on the ends, I don't have it in front of me, but I've got plexiglass, and I'm going to screw those on the ends. Because the problem is, if I put bumpers on those two tracks, I don't have enough room for that locomotive and a car. So I'm going to put some plexiglass on it.
Yeah, and then you'll still be able to take that off pretty easily.
Yeah,
just for adding another one or for transport.
Yeah, just a couple of screws is all it is.
Yeah. Pre-drill your holes and work good.
Yeah, it won't be a big deal.
Now, Jason, how are you connecting the two?
So the power I'm using, they're little pressure things from Woodland Scenics for their Just Plug lighting. They're like little pressure clips. Let me grab one. I know exactly where I got them. All right. So it's one of these.
Okay.
And so you can pressure, and then I only have to pull out one wire.
Right.
And that's really the only thing that is ran between, under the layout between both modules. It's just track power. That's it. So.
And then your modulars are bolted together?
They're screwed in right now. So I did what's called it's a carpenter's term. I think it's called shiplap.
Okay.
It's where you take your board and you shave off half of it for like so far on both boards, and when they come together, they lap over.
Okay.
To make the same thickness.
Right.
So I did that. So that way it makes like a really snug fit, and then I just have one screw going through each end.
Okay.
And it holds it together really well. I might go to a second screw, so that way it don't, do that.
You can use those. They're a piece you screw in. The outside has a wood thread on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the inside is a machine thread.
Okay.
So you're not screwing into the wood every time you put it together.
Gotcha.
A barrel Oh, I can't remember the name of it. But you can get them at Home Depot or
Yeah,
Lowe's or
I've seen
wherever.
them. I know what you're talking about.
And then at least you're not trying to screw into the exact same hole every time with a wood screw.
Right.
So
Yeah,
just thought.
yeah. I need to figure out what I want to do on that for sure.
I have, and I can't find them right now, but I had a little thing that clamps. You put a little bracket on one side, and the thing goes into it, and then you lever it up, and it pulls them together tight.
Yeah.
And what I did was I used to use dowels for alignment, all right, and then use that other piece to snug them together.
Yeah. You talking about like a C clamp or wood clamps, compression clamps of some type?
No, it's. I wish I had. I got one underneath here, half of one underneath here, but I can't get to it.
Yeah. And that was something else I was thinking about doing too, was drilling a hole through the lap section of the two 1x4s and just putting wooden dowels through it, but not gluing in, so that way I can pop them out when I get ready to take them apart. Thought about doing that as well. Because, I mean, the main thing is you just want it to where it doesn't come apart.
Right. And you want to be able to make sure it connects to the exact same spot every time also.
Right.
So your tracks are aligned.
Well, that's what.
I'll tell you, doing the lapping on the 1x4s, that really helped. I mean, it lines up perfect every single time because you've got two pieces of half of the 1x4 that has to slide into the other pieces. So it's perfect every time, believe it or not.
Good.
T-nuts and bolts, that's another option.
I can't find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, a T-nut would probably work too.
I mean, there's so many different ways I could go about doing it. I just want something that I can easily take apart. You know, that's just the key to it. Just make sure I can easily take it apart.
Yeah,
so that's why I was mentioning those. Go ahead.
We are way past our 1 hour, but that's fine.
Yep.
I will look for what I was talking about as far as that lever tightening. Like I said, the dowel rods are what get it aligned, and then this lever clamp is what pulls it together and tightens it up secure. So anyway, with that, hey guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us here at Friday Live and Mail Call, and from Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Tennessee. We'll spare you the songs. But anyway, y'all have a great day.
Bye, all.
Yeah, I know, Derek. It does suck to try finding stuff. We'll see y'all later. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right.
Take care.
Take care, everyone.